What's happening to all of my turn uppers? I hope you guys are well and blessed. Today is the 23rd of May 2017. This past Saturday was the expo. We had a great day, a great time together. So wonderful seeing and sensing all of the great energy and see you guys, um, you know, the synergy that went on within the groups and getting to know your leaders. It was great. All of our leaders and volunteers did a great job. Shout out to them. Um, my role and position in this process is to not only present you information and guidance, but to coach you along the way as well. And I think when you look at the unique way that we do this, that's the reason why it's been so effective and powerful and impactful. And I'm thankful to be a part of that. Um, if you're watching this and you don't have time to watch it in its entirety, don't rush through this information I'm about to give you. I'm about to give you some information that will literally make the difference in your transformation, permanent transformation and change. So if you need to watch this in its entirety later when you can really focus, do that at that time because the information is that critical. Um, I'm in my office, and as I was driving in, I was led to share this with you all because I really think it's going to help you. I've never told this information to individuals in this way before, so this is a first. You guys don't realize, and I hope you realize kind of the situation that you're in. You're really in a great place if transformation and change is what you desire. You're really in a great place. The reason why you're in the great place is because the information that I'm going to be sharing with you are things that I learned after messing up so many times. And, it's always better when you're getting information through a person who has wisdom over against a person who has knowledge. The difference between knowledge and wisdom is knowledge can be gained sometimes by researching, by reading, by reading a book, listening to a video, hearing something in a class. But wisdom is something, that type of knowledge is gained through wisdom is a knowledge that is gained based upon experiences. And to me, you can't beat knowledge that's coming from a person because they've lived it over against knowledge that's been shared with you in theory. You do this, you don't do that. It's one thing when a person says, hey, look both ways when you cross the street. That's knowledge. But wisdom is, the reason why you want to look both ways is because when I didn't, a car hit me, and here I am in this unfortunate position. It has a different power to it. So the information that I'm preparing to tell you guys is wisdom. So it is a knowledge that I have, that I've been the recipient of that knowledge through experiences. Those of you who are in this particular process and you want to lose weight and you want to get your hypertension under control, obesity, I totally get it. But what you have to realize is it's a complete spiritual thing that you have to manifest first. See, in order to get physical results, the weight that you want, the blood pressure reading that you want, reversing your whatever medical conditions you have, something on the inside of you has to shift. It has to be a spiritual manifestation, transformation. Everything that happens in this physical reality starts off in the spiritual realm. That's how the world works. This physical reality is nothing more than a projection of something. It's like when you go to the movie theater, you're looking at something on the wall. That's the projection, but the genesis of it is coming from somewhere else. So your obesity, your mood, your mindset, your sense of happiness, or discontentment, whatever it is, it's all spiritual. So it's kind of divine that I'm in this health and wellness lane, but I'm a man of God. I'm a preacher. I'm a pastor. It's like a perfect marriage, because what better way to hear about spiritual manifestations from someone who's been called to preach the word of God? You know, it's just kind of like I never understood why this voice God is something that God gave me, but it makes sense the older that I get. How can I start this? When I was 330 pounds, food was almost like an addiction to me. You know, drugs, never tried drugs, never smoked weed. I don't look down on anyone who has smoked or who's done drugs. That's just a choice I made. I just never wanted to go down that road. I'm not saying I'm better than somebody who hasn't. It's just wasn't my thing. Um, you know, fast living, that was never really my thing. I guess that's all relative, but to me, it wasn't. But food was definitely a how can I put this? It was how I would escape it was how I would bring pleasure to myself, you know. And a lot of you can relate to that. And the sad thing is, a lot of times I was doing things and I was responding in a way, and I would eat in times and I would crave more here than there, and I never could understand why my response would be as it was when it was. And this information is something that wisdom, experience, knowledge gained through experience has shown me. And I'm going to share it with you, because if you listen to what I'm saying, do what I'm telling you to do, not only are you going to get better results in the 40 days, but your results are going to be more sustainable, because the screw ups that happen, like when people lose weight and they gain it back, what I'm about to tell you is the reason why people screw up and don't realize why they screw up. That's why what I'm telling you is important, not only to get you to where you want to be, but so you can maintain where you want to be. There are three different entities in your life that is consciously and subconsciously affecting your actions as it relates to food. People is the first one, okay? There were times in my life when I would have certain cravings and certain inklings to eat in certain ways when I would be around certain people in my life. It was strange. I never realized that I was doing it. And you're doing the same thing. I never realized when I would get around some people that sometimes it's out of habit. Hey, whenever I see such and such, you know, we will always eat Chinese food. Or whenever I would be around this person, we will always eat this. It could be a person you're dating. It could be a person that you're married to. It could be a person that you know at work. It could be a person who visits you from time to time. And what happens is food becomes a center meeting place, something that you all would always do. So what would happen is when you get around that person, you would begin to crave something out of habit, because we're creatures of habit. Okay? So before the 40 days starts, you need to identify in your life, when I get around certain people, what are some of the habits that I indulge in? If it's drinking or if it's smoking, really understand it, because the issue is when there are people in your life that you get around and it causes you to crave different things, or, you know, I want this, or I want to go here, or I want us to have these drinks. The problem becomes the people that's in your life that are creating those reactions within your subconscious, that's spiritual, but you aren't aware of it. You see? So that means if you're not aware of who these people are that may influence you, and the people can be completely innocent. If you're not aware of it, then what happens is you find yourself craving something or desiring something that you have no power over. But when you take some time to really think about, oh yeah, I do like to do this when I get around this person, you become empowered and you become more in a position to control it. That's the first thing, people. All right. The second thing that would influence my actions, my desires, would be certain activities. I was the type of person that whenever I went to a social gathering, I had to eat the food that was at the gathering. I could not resist. I was completely impotent, without power, with no willpower when I would get to social events. I would go and I would see those little sweet little meatballs. Y'all know what I'm talking about? The chicken wings. I was never the type of person who could cheat modestly. I was the type of person I would have to go in, and get plates of. I couldn't resist cupcakes and the little pieces of cake, and they put the little y'all know those little muffins to be like the size of a quarter, a little bit larger than a quarter, and you get one of them. I get like 5 and 6 of them. So certain activities, like when holidays would come around, something would click on the inside of me because I would be at barbecues and I would have to eat the food. I was completely helpless, and I had no understand. It's like, why do I do this? It's like something about holidays and Christmas and social events that would just click something on the inside of me that I could not control, and I couldn't understand it. So there are things in your life, just like me, it's activities in your life that elicit certain cravings. That's spiritual. What's spiritual? The process of something on the inside of you creating an emotion that makes you want to act on it physically. That's spiritual. Something that has a spiritual impetus, but it's manifesting in this physical reality. So you need to identify what those things are. Some folk have different willpower in different places and different spaces. A lot of times you'll meet individuals who are morbidly obese and you never see them eat at work or at school. But they eating sometime, because you wouldn't be that size if you weren't eating. But sometimes they can be they can be individuals when they get at home, and when nighttime comes, that nighttime or that time of the day elicits them to gorge themselves in food. This is heavy stuff, and I have this knowledge through wisdom because I lived it. So I had to identify these activities, and you need to do the same thing. For you, it may be holidays. For someone else, it may be weekends. See, I know folk, it's easier to hold fast to your healthy lifestyle Monday through Friday. When the weekend comes, you lose it. And then what happens is you gain back all the weight that you lost during the week, and every week you end up in the same places like you're a dog chasing its tail. So the first is people. The second, activities. The third one are days of the week. Okay? And I kind of hinted at this in the activities, but for me, it was always something about Friday. When Fridays would come, I don't know, I almost felt like, okay, what I'm doing today doesn't count, right? It's almost like calories don't count on Fridays. When I was 330 pounds, I'm telling y'all, I'm being very transparent with you, because I know there's somebody who's watching this. You sitting there, maybe now, probably the whole video, saying, I get it. And see, just for the mere fact that I'm telling you this is raising your consciousness. Consciousness is just your awareness of things. Okay? Now, why am I telling you all this? If you can identify the people that are in your life that elicit bad habits, eating habits, drinking habits, whatever it is, if you can identify activities that are problematic for you, holidays, maybe barbecues, maybe Sunday after church when you go to your mama's house, I don't know what it is. And 3, if you can identify the days of the week that are more challenging to you, I want you to write them down, think about it, internalize it, absorb it, digest it, and let those targets be the things that you go to God in prayer about starting today. Y'all, I'm telling you, this may sound weird and strange, but I'm telling you, you will have so much power, okay? You have so much power in transforming your life. I'm so carried away. Let me do what I do best. Let me read something to you. Okay, this is raw, y'all. Hold on, y'all. I'm looking for something because I really want to read it to you. Hold on. Okay, I may have to come back to that. I can't find it. I should have had it. I want to read you something, but this gives you so much power. All right, so much power. And I know I kind of sound like I'm rambling, but if you can get what I'm trying to get you to understand, it's going to completely change your life in a way that you will never understand. And it took me years to kind of understand this. Now, when you identify these things in your life, the people, the activities in your life, the days of the week, and you pray, leading up to the 40-day turn, when we start, Lord, make me mindful of these things. Y'all are going to have to make a decision one of two ways. You're going to have to tell yourself, hey, am I going to allow this to have power over me? Or am I going to have power over this? You're going to have to go to those people and say, you know what? I know we used to, go out and eat pizza when I would see you. Or I know, when we go on our date, we would do this. You're going to have to tell them, look, I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm not going to be able to do that anymore, especially for at least about 6 weeks, because I'm trying to get myself together. You're going to have to tell them. For a long time, the way I would gain power back over the activities, like the social events, is I couldn't go to them. I had to build myself up to the point to where when I would go to the social event, I wouldn't submit to the food there. And now I can go to a social event, I can see people eat anything. It doesn't bother me because I've been doing it for so long. I've been gaining power over that. The Bible talks about the flesh and the spirit, dualism. And Paul talks about dying daily. It's a spiritual thing he's saying. Every day you have to build your spirit man and woman. And as you build your spirit man and as you build your spirit woman, the flesh becomes weaker. Okay? Dualism, flesh and spirit. So Paul says, I die daily. The flesh, the ego part of me, I have to kill it. All right? So let's say, for instance, that alcohol is my thing, or beer is my thing, or cigarettes is my thing, or food is my thing. To die daily in that spiritual sense, to defeat the flesh, means that when I have that inkling to do that thing, I deny it. And when I successfully deny that thing that was pulling at me, I'm gaining spiritual power, And at the same time, I'm lessening the grip that that fleshly addiction had on me. So Paul says, I die daily. He's basically saying every day I'm killing my flesh, growing my spirit, killing my flesh, growing my spirit, killing my flesh, growing my spirit. So the reason why I'm able to go to social events now is not because of anything physical, it's spiritual. For so long, because I identified those activities, those trigger points. Those trigger points may be people, those trigger points may be activities, those trigger points may be days of the week. When I identified what they are and what they were in my life, I was able to be deliberate in my prayer life and expand my consciousness. So when I would see it, I would say, okay, I see what's going on. I got it. So not only do I know what to pray for, I know what to avoid. I know who I need to tell, look, I'm not going to be able to get on with you like that anymore, because this is something that I'm choosing to do. So now when I go to social events, I see people drinking and eating everything they want to eat. That's fine. I mean, I can have fun and not eat a plate full of chicken wings and then feel guilty about it for another. I don't have to go through that turmoil anymore because I'm free of it. Okay? Let me find this text, y'all. Listen to this. This is the text, the spiritual. This is the power of what I'm saying. As a man of God, if I can't tell you something that can be substantiated in the Word of God, then I'm giving you my opinion, and it means I'm not relevant. What gives me power and relevancy is that I'm using this word. Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, against the rulers of this darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. What does that mean? That means the issues of transformation, what keeps us in the bondage of addiction, be it food, cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever it is. It's not flesh. It's the spirit behind it. What keeps you obese? The spirit behind it. What keeps you addicted to certain things, chicken wings and eating this and doing, it's spiritual. But what I just taught you is a master class on understanding trigger points that causes us to act in ways that we're unconscious about. But it forces us to have to deal with the repercussions of those choices that we make, but subconsciously we don't even realize why we're tempted to do it. If you get this, if you can right now on the 23rd of May, before June even gets here, identify those three things. What people are in your life that elicit bad habits, what activities in your life that elicit bad habits, maybe the days of the week. Write them down. Let them be your prayer target points. Every day I'm praying about these things because I know these people, I know these activities, and I know this time of the week or this time of the day is more difficult for me. For me, man, when I first started my journey, you know, I would be good through the day. You know, I wake up, lunchtime, but early afternoon, man, that's when those cravings will come. And the reason why is because for so long, that afternoon would be when I would go to this certain soup house and get tons of food that I didn't need to get. That memory had been ingrained in my consciousness and in my heart. It had become like who I was, and I had to kill it, you see. See, that's pretty much what I'm trying to get you to understand. These people, it's not that the people are bad. It may be your mama. You know, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with the people. What I'm saying, we associate certain activities around these things. That's spiritual warfare. That's what it is. And the best type of spiritual warfare is a warfare that makes you do something that's not in the will of God, that you are unconscious about, that looks harmless. Okay? So I hope these words help you. I'm glad, and I received the Holy Spirit who gave them to me to share them with you, because God gives this to me. I know it's inspiration, and inspiration comes directly from God. So I hope it helps. If you have questions about this, you can hit me up in the closed Facebook group. For those of you who are not on the Facebook group, get on. If you're in this particular 40-day turn up, you can email me, or you can post something on this video. Love y'all. Hope you're well and blessed. Let's get it. Let's turn it up. Keep it up. Peace.